In today's channeled message with the angels, they're sharing details about the Earth Rift as well as about our technology and how it may change in the future. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. I am Ann Tucker. If this is your first time here, I am a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm. That means I raise my awareness up as high as I can go, a little higher, I connect, and the messages start to come through, and I write them down, and then I share them here with you guys on YouTube. So today's message is about the Earth Rift, this possible rift in the Earth that they first start talking about maybe almost about a year ago is the first time they brought it up. And here they're providing more details about that. So I will go ahead and link in the description box the old video that they gave us, that channeling message, so you can have that as well, so you can have kind of the full picture of what they're talking about here. And this is potentially going to take place in the Indian Ocean. Anyways, I'll let you listen to the message for yourself. They also talk about our technology in the future, and this is related to, again, another message that we got many months ago about a blackout, a period of blackout, which I think might be related to some sort of a solar flare or solar storm that then triggers this blackout. So, and I'm assuming that because I've heard that from so many other channels, what I specifically got was a period of blackout, and then that does affect our technology. Here they talk about how the technology will evolve in the future, which is actually a very cool, very positive message. So I'm excited for you guys to hear it. So I actually shared this message, or portions, or excerpts from this message on my friend's channel this morning, Elizabeth April. So if you're familiar with Elizabeth April, she has a channel on YouTube. She is a channel for the Galactic Federation. So it was actually a super interesting conversation for me to be taking the angel's perspective and her to be taking the galactic perspective. So that was, if you want to catch that, it is over on her channel, so don't miss out. All right, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, and if you want to hear more messages like this one, hit the notification bell, and you will be alerted every time I upload, which happens every Friday. Enjoy the message. So, all right. So they say, hello, we are here, we are within. We can begin. We say you are wondering about what comes next, the circumstances of your arrival into this dimension of upheaval. We say you are aware of the passage of much activity there, of how all begin to feel the repercussions of their long tribunal of affairs on the planet. How now we've achieved a readiness, and expelling is necessary, and this will take place. So they are talking about, this is the way they describe it, our long tribunal of affairs on the planet. So really this is like climate change, the buildup of, and it's not just our carbon emissions, right? It's not just the ways in which we've damaged the planet environmentally, it's the wars, right? It's the emotional frequencies which we've inflicted on the planet. It is the sort of human beings not being nice to each other. And there's a buildup of that energy on the planet. And that is part of it, right? So it's all of it. Yes, it is our climate, absolutely, but there's the emotional climate too, which impacts the earth. It's, energy is everything. And they say that an expelling is necessary. That as the earth evolves, the earth has to dispel all these energies that we have built up and created on her physical being, which is her crust. The crust of her is like her physical being. And that has to clear in order for her to evolve. They go on to say, there will be after effects, repercussions to the selves, the ones, inhabitants thereon, so us. They will be held by ourselves. All will remain in the fold of our protection, and up-leveling for some will mean passage on. For many remain, and they acquire more aptitude and awareness of higher vibration. They will stay and be healed of burdens and complexities they bear today. So this is referring really briefly to stuff they've talked about in much more depth in some of our past channelings, basically saying that everybody is protected, everyone is held. For people who want to continue to pursue their learning in the third dimension, there is a space for them to go. It's not here, but there's a place for them to go to continue that journey. And that's a choice, a totally valid choice. For those who want to stay, who are ready to move up, they're moving up into a higher vibration. And in doing so, they get healed of, they say, the burdens and complexities they bear today. So healing their karma. So it's no longer a karmic experience as we move forward for those who chose to stay on the planet. They go on to say, we say you are wondering about the physical effects on the planet. We are aware there will be some disturbance of magnitude housing in the Earth's crust. the domain of physicality for the planet being. So this is what I was talking about. They're saying that the Earth's crust is the domain of physicality for her, for the Earth. And there's going to be a disturbance of magnitude in this housing and the crust. They say, she is well, but disturbed by our gradual enlivenment. She feels our embrace as we hearken her onward, upward into her full bearing. So the angels are helping her through her own evolution. So they're not the cause of it, but they are assisting her, helping her. She wants to, and she's ready to evolve. So they're helping her through it. They go on to say, she will open herself, a rift, a separation of plates that will rise up from the ocean and heave into the atmosphere such debris as can free her from the toxins within. A necessary outpouring of grief and rage inflicted upon herself by yourselves, by us. Your inhabitation of violence forthcoming. It does reveal itself in this expression of her upheaval. It will be released, a torrent of her fabric, a torrent of debris pours forth and leaves disturbance everywhere. So this is like, there it is. Basically, it's saying that yeah, it's the emotional toxins, it's this grief and this rage, and yes, it's environmental toxins as well. But this is stuff that through our activities, through our own evolution and our own growth and our learning about ourselves, right? That we have created a lot of friction on the planet, and that friction, she is holding it. And think about all the times we ground and we pour our junk into the planet, and that's we're supposed to do that. Like, that's part of living on the earth. But at a certain point, she's got to release it. She's got to let it go. So, and they do say it's going to torrent of her fabric, of the stuff that she's made of, and debris becomes debris, and it pours forth and leaves disturbance everywhere. So this is a big eruption of sorts, a big opening, and they say this pouring forth of all this stuff from inside of her. They go on to say, it is felt by all. Some will feel it proximately. So those who are close, we're going to feel it more proximately. Others reveal a twinge of awareness and then the shaking of the planet underneath. They become aware indeed. She reveals her awakening sound, a deafening roar climbing the hills, refracting and reverberating elsewhere, heard by all on the planet. So wow, right? And I've heard this once before in one of their messages, that there would be, it's like a boom. Think of like a sonic boom. And because I had seen it before, and I had some people have had dreams about this event where they saw like a small earthquake, but it's not, I don't think it's an actual, yes, there is the shaking, but I think it's the sonic boom from the event that it's heard by everyone. So, so when this happens, it's like you might have a slight, sort of like, the birds take off, that kind of thing. You might have that internal twinge, maybe in the root chakra. You might feel that constriction of like, okay, what's going on? There's a big shift underneath. If you're tuned in, especially if you're tuned into earth energy, and then you might hear the sound of it all around the world. So they go on to say, it will rise, the waters begin to climb. They come up with pressure from underneath, the pressure comeuppance, the lifting of the tide onward, rushing outward in all directions. It flows and envelops all in its path. It moves mountains aside. It clears pathways dissolved. It moves without feeling or compassion. All will be revealed, but you are aware we are there. We are holding all, preparing everyone. All will be held by ourselves. So this is a bit of a frightening image of this water flowing. But that's why they are telling us, like, that's why they're giving us the information now to know that, and they're, basically they're saying the wave is going to be higher than we're expecting. So there will be water, and to be aware of that. And, you don't want to be near the coast, like, be up high. You want to be away from where this might affect. They go on to say, okay, so that now they're moving into the solar effects, the solar storm. They go on to say, the solar elevation instructs the earth, the energies to transform her and yourselves alike. She feels it more than yourselves, for she is blanketed in no protection. You have protection by her very being. She has none the same. Her own magnetism is her field, her energetic force, her influence. It is susceptible as you are within, but you now benefit from her outer layers of protection. So they're saying that we think of the earth as being protected by her magnetic shield, but in the same way that we have a field, she has a field. And our field, if think about your own field, if you walk through, walk into a room that's got a really low vibe, you feel it in your field, like you pick it up, your field picks things up. So they're saying the same thing with her magnetic field is susceptible as well. It protects us, but it doesn't necessarily protect her. Certainly the sort of inside, inner earth, but the field is part of her, is what they're saying. So it makes sense that it could be affected more so than we are. You can feel her enlivening with solar retort. There are many circumstances of solar elevation. So right now there's a lot of activity with the sun. A lot of stuff is hitting the planet right now. They go on to say, there are many circumstances of solar elevation, but one will come, one elevation supreme to knock out all elevation, communication. It will subside, freeing yourselves to be relieved of that duty of learning complexity, that technological progress, which has hampered your spiritual progress. This is where it gets super interesting. They're talking about, so yes, and they said before that there would be a period of blackout where we would not have communication, all these kind of things knocked out. So I don't think this is forever. I think this is for a period of time. It might be a short period of time. It might be a longer period of time. It's hard to say, but here they're describing why it's so important. And I think this is really, really interesting. And by the way, I know that technology is not something we're going to be without forever, that it is something that we're going to be growing, and it's going to be changing as they're describing it here, but it will help us forward into our future expression of what we are as humans. They say that upliftment temporary into godlike states of communion with one another without the required passage of elevation of spirit. Indeed, it does not hinder the growth so much as prevent it. So, wow, like that's heavy. Basically saying that being able to have all the benefits of connection without the spiritual aspects of connection, without the rising of your own frequency in order to do that, rising into higher vibrations, but sort of cheating your way into, using all of our social media and all the ways that we are connected to the hive mind at all times, doing that without the spiritual component. They said it does not hinder the growth so much as prevent it. So that's heavy duty. They go on to say it does harbor within the frequency of elevation, subtracting God. It has no soul within, no frequency of light, no illumination for your benefit. It has, however, the enchantment of elevation, the ready connection, infusion of compatibility with another, the light and easy touch of technology to do all sorts of things as you are. But now receive the true lightness, the true elevation of spirit that unites all within the context of humanity in peace and love, uniting in all circumstances, housing within it the true resonance of your capacity to care for one another. This is another frequency of difference. Yes, of belonging, not having, of being settled in the self, of acknowledging your own wisdom within, not seeking external gratification from inundation with digital frequencies promising connection of another sort, unsatisfying, bereft of kind heart, lacking true wisdom, holding the frequency of depravity, of lack, of heresy, and foreboding. These are all encumbered in technology as you house it today. So, wow, right? Like, yeah, absolutely. And they say it with such clarity, like this whole idea of like, what do you find on the internet? Do you find, depravity, lack, heresy, foreboding, right? Like the fearful media, fear mongering, like this is, yes, they're saying it exactly. Yeah. And it makes sense that technology gives us all the gifts that we want to develop. It is a technological form of telepathy, right? Of oneness, of all these things that we're aspiring to reach on the spiritual plane. We have recreated them in technology, but without spirit. And so the spirit within it, right? It is, depravity, lack, heresy, foreboding. It's all these things that are not good for us. So yeah, they're saying it's not that it just, hinders our growth, that it actually prevents it. So that's, wow. All right. They go on to say, we release you from it. We cure your heart and heave you together into one future now, that housing of fabric woven from love and caring for one another, that tenderness of heart found lacking today. You will attain it, but by upheaval. This is the journey forward. Whoa. Right. So yes, technology in the future, but a really different kind of technology. What does technology look like when it is based on love and care for one another and compassion for one another? How does technology evolve as we evolve? And I think they're saying in order to have that happen, they've got to hit the reset button, right? And it doesn't mean that we lose everything that we've learned, because I think that that's important. That it's sort of like the combining of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, that we need to bring everything that we've developed up into this point, and now we just have to alter it and change it so that it makes space for us to evolve spiritually, for us to have all of these gifts that we have achieved through technology, to have them through spirit, to be able to have our telepathy, and to have the sense of oneness that is just native to ourselves. And that's where we're headed. So I find that to be a really positive and uplifting message. Like, I don't know how we're going to get there, but it certainly makes sense that as long as we have that crutch, as long as we have the technology to lean on in the way that we do, that it is preventing our moving forward. So some sort of a reset. And I don't think it's going to be a long time that we have this period of darkness. I think it's a short period of time. And there may already be solutions in the works. There may already be things that we're not even aware of certain things may rise and certain things may fall. And that's certainly how they've described these events to me in terms of the channeling. The way I've understood it is that these events, it's not like the whole world is shut down. It is like certain areas become uninhabitable. Other areas seem relatively untouched. So it could be a thing where and then there's a migration. We're already seeing this. We're already seeing climate migration as people are talking about leaving certain areas because they just can't handle the summer smoke every year and all this kind of stuff. So people are already shifting populations, but that may increase, and people moving to different areas. And in those areas, we're okay. But it's time to sort of sit back and reevaluate and have these new energies come into us in terms of the caring and the connection with each other. And how does that then impact the structures that we build to support our society, including our technology? So, all right. So hopefully this wasn't too heavy for you guys. I know they got a lot into the detail about, what this is going to look like in terms of this Earth Rift thing. And that's a lot, and it's a lot to share, but I'm choosing to feel in you guys the capacity to hold all this stuff right along, and to have all to hold it together, right? And to take it with your own inner bearing, your own inner wisdom, and to filter it through your own discernment, and to take what serves you and to leave the rest. So thank you guys so much. Sending you guys big hugs. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will find a way to share these other messages that I've gotten. There's, like I said, some lovely additions about this one that I was going to share for today, which is just beautiful, which is really about, it's really about how we're rising. Yeah, about our arrival. And it's just beautiful. So anyways, I will find another way to share it. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's great to spend the time with you. And I will see you next Friday live. Bye-bye.